Hello, dear friends. I hope you're having a lovely day so far. I'm Kristen, and here we are again with another Choose Your Own Adventure Pick a Card reading that's all about love. Self-love, relationships, romance, and how it all intertwines together. Our piles today are in themes, so let's go over everything really quick. Pile number 1 is going to be our Morganite pile. Morganite, it's a stone of the heart. This is also themed with the pink rose and intimacy. So we have Morganite and a theme of pink roses and intimacy. All of these cards here are flower essences in my apothecary that I have collected. I'm also a flower essence healing practitioner. So I thought it would be really fun to bring in the wisdom and the healing of the flowers and see what they have for us, especially in terms of love. So that's pile number 1. Pile number 2, we have our clear crystal Tibetan. We got this beauty over here with white rose. It's about transparency and clarity. So our themes are transparent, clarity. This essence also seemed to give me a deep cleanse on a cellular level. I felt like it was a cellular detox from ancestral and emotional bonds, and I was clinging to the familial. So that is in our theme here as well. Gotta tell you everything so you know what you're drawn to. And then of course we have beautiful passionate Carnelian with orange rose and creativity and sexuality. So just see what you're drawn to, or feel free to just randomly pick. Feel free to pick more than one. You can put on the laundry, get on your computer and do some work and listen to all 3 and pick up what you get if you'd like to. Or if you're here just to choose your own adventure and be on your way, I am happy that you're here no matter what you do. Again, I'm Kristen. I hope that you will give me a thumbs up. It would mean the world to me. I'm new to YouTube, and any support that you would like to give would be so appreciative. If you're called, please subscribe, and definitely in the comments below, let me know what resonated and what supported you in this reading. So I will see you over there, loves. Bye. Hello, love pile number 1 people, my pretty pink Morganite people. Hope you are doing well today so far. Let's start off with your animal spirit message. The sea serpent. This is all about healing emotional wounds. The best way to be in relationship with ourselves and others is to acknowledge our emotional wounding, whether it be from familial, other relationships, whatever combination thereof. Perhaps there's someone in your life romantically who is also in a place of deeply healing emotional wounds from their past relationships as well. I think it's important that we're in alignment with our romantic partners and potential romantic partners as far as our healing path go. It doesn't mean we have to do the exact same healing modalities or go about things the exact same way, but if you're somebody who is really into working on yourself and looking into healing and looking into all parts of yourself, and it's important to be with somebody that's doing the same thing. It doesn't have to be in the exact same way. It could look extremely different from how you do it. By being in this sort of alignment, you can really be vulnerable with each other, to accept that somebody has emotional wounds, things from the past that have really hurt them. It's very difficult when you've created something with another person, another partnership, whether it be a family, a home, and then things fall apart. And whether that's you or them or both of you. And sometimes stepping into a new emotional bond can feel really sticky, and it can bring up all of our stuff.
But if we have two people that are on the path of at least acknowledging it, and this is where I am, and this is the pace I need to go at, and I really like you, therefore I really want you to understand where I am, so that we can together decide how we want to proceed, or how can we compromise. This is what you need, this is what I need. Because the ocean can be a very emotional place. It can be very serene, healing, loving, and nurturing, but waves can get really big and they can crash down on you. They can overwhelm you. The whole idea is to be able to be in flow regardless of how things are going emotionally. That's a relationship that stands the test of time and can stay consistent through whatever storms and overwhelming processes might come up, to be there with each other and to become a stronger couple because of it. In celebrations, there's been a breakthrough. This reminds me of a dove. Doves are all about peace, calm, and harmony. Perhaps letting yourself celebrate the peace and harmony and the place where you can have a truce within yourself. What I mean by a truce within yourself is you're constantly not fighting with yourself, telling yourself the same old stories, old patterns, how I didn't see in the past, how I was naive, or I wanted something so badly that I overlooked something, I overlooked a red flag. You can celebrate that you have broken through, that you have seen the light, that you get it, and you can trust that you are safe within yourself. You can trust the intelligence of the body, that you will listen to it if it's telling you that something isn't quite right. And so perhaps there's something to really celebrate because you feel safe. You're in a safe journey with somebody else, or you're about to be in a safe journey with someone else. You can absolutely be in a safe journey with someone else. There's clarity. Feels like breaking through to the other side of a process of integration, your past experiences, moving through those sticky areas, and recognizing that you are more in alignment with your higher self and with your authentic self. And taking that clarity and starting a new cycle with a new person. An ordinariness. I love this card so much because it's such a beautiful card. Those beautiful pink flowers. It just feels very romantic to me. I know there's only one person in the card, and we can certainly talk about that place of being romantic with yourself, of taking the time to get to know yourself, to be in the meditation with yourself, to have your own self-care, and all those beautiful things, all the routines that you have created in your life that really make you the kind of person that you want to be with. It's that old cliche about make the list of the kind of person that you would want, or the kind of person that you would, and be that. If you want someone that brings in peace, you want someone that can be present with themselves in the moment to moment and appreciate life, then it's time to do that for yourself and to be in discovery of what that specifically means for you. Now, this card for me also feels like the everyday ordinariness of life and how romantic it can be with someone else, just to share the little things. Sharing a cup of coffee in the morning, coming home and sorting out laundry. You're talking to them about your day as you guys do that together, or maybe, whatever your routines are, they are innately more romantic, or have the potential to be more romantic because you're with this person. This is a message to lean into that a little bit more if it's become very rote and very boring, and maybe remind you to gently lean into what it would be like when you're making that coffee, to rub your partner's back, or have a conversation around, hey, I feel like we're rushing out in the morning. Maybe we could take 5 minutes. Or maybe it's better to do that at the end of the day. But this is a message to maybe talk about something with your partner if you feel like you want to lean into that a little bit more, and how you guys can possibly create that. If there's a way to find whatever time there is, or even just put out the intention that, is there anything I can possibly find romantic about sorting the laundry just because they're there? Is there? It's just a question. Maybe that's next time you're in a relationship, something to consider. Maybe that was an issue in other relationships. So the Seven of Swords, this is a card of strategy ultimately, but this is wanting to avoid those red flags. This is feeling like I've wisened up, I've matured, but it's almost like now you're living again in that sort of like loop or the trauma vortex of constantly replaying, I don't want that to happen to me again. And so therefore you're almost playing that nightmare out in your mind more than it needs to be a reality. And again, I go to trusting yourself and really trusting how you feel. Sometimes we pick at just a little thread of something that we can hold on to that we know, yeah, this is good and safe. You have to trust at some point that you've learned. You're entitled to that. It's your birthright to trust yourself that I've learned from these experiences. Or if I get into it for a date or two, I'm going to immediately know to get out before I get in too deep. Because a cycle has come to a close. A cycle where you've been working on healing emotional wounds. You've been looking at it. Perhaps you're with somebody who is working on healing their emotional wounds in many ways. That is part of why you're together right now, or part of the gifts that you have to give them. Now, the important thing here is it's never about enabling or I'm here to help somebody and that's my job all the time. But it could be that you are just a gentle model of what it's like to spiritually heal emotional wounds, or model of vulnerability, that it is okay to be vulnerable in front of a partner. Maybe they've never had that before, and that's again part of your gift. And they will have a gift for you. There's something that you really need to see that they have to give. So can you see that? The Magician in reverse, in this feeling of manipulation. You just simply don't want to go to a place where you're going to assume that everybody is some sort of a trickster. And with the Knight of Cups, trusting that there's a pathway. You have what it takes. You have enough inner resource. You have enough wholeness that you have a full cup to offer someone, and therefore you attract somebody who is in alignment with all of that. They have a full cup to give you. And it's okay if the process takes a little bit of extra time. There's no rush. I want to thank you for being here and listening to me today. It means the world. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. Please let me know in the comments below what resonated with you, what supported you. All right, have a wonderful day, and I'll be back soon. Bye, love. Hello, love pile number 2 people, my Tibetan clear crystal people. It's beautiful stone. Hope you guys are doing well today so far. Let's get to your reading. We have the spirit animal card first, which is Firefly. This is about inspiration, light, hope. Perhaps you're feeling more inspired, more hopeful. Perhaps you find that you're drawn more to the light of every situation, that you're drawn to the light in others, that you can see the light in others, perhaps as opposed to being drawn to, I don't know, drama, complication. You have reached your healing process where you literally are being compelled to move towards lighter situations, perhaps because you are lighter yourself now through your healing process. And you're feeling hopeful and inspired about your future, about your love life. Perhaps you're hopeful and inspired because of someone that you've recently met or someone that you're with, that they bring a sense of hope that you've never had before. Perhaps you are bringing in the light and hope for someone else. Of course, always hopefully that you are bringing in the light and hope for each other. It's true that sometimes one person needs one thing more than the other. So you may find that one of you is doing that more for the other at the moment. Being able to witness someone being drawn to the light. Perhaps you're seeing the light in someone that they didn't know existed. Or someone is seeing the light represented by your potential that you didn't even know that you have. Perhaps you are feeling inspired because somebody inspires you, because they see something within you that you don't see in yourself. It's uplifting. It's like people should lift each other up, not drag each other down. Blessings. Feeling blessed just to be where you are in life, that you've made it here in one piece so far. I think that is a blessing, that you're here on earth, that you exist, and that you have the blessing of feeling inspired and hopeful and more uplifted, that you are drawn more to the light and light situations in all the areas of your life. If you're left a work situation that was dramatic or just plain dark and toxic, a lot of times that can open up a pathway and it can bring in romantic relationship, romantic love, because you were being weighed down by that work situation. And being able to untangle that shows you how to untangle yourself from, that you have it within you. You have the resilience to untangle yourself from what is unnecessary. What again is just drama. You don't need to have this deep drama and complication for things to be exciting. Things can be exciting when you're just being in each other's presence, and that's a blessing. Guidance. So this is ancestral wisdom, familial wisdom. I always call this the wisdom of the aunts. Whether it's an aunt or a grandmother or a mother or a sister or a best friend or a group of women that you consider to be sisters, a group of people in your life that are family. It's listening to the wisdom. One of the resources that you've created in your life are the people that you go to for guidance and the people that you go to help you through whatever it is that you're facing. People that are models for you, that even through tough times, that even through conflict, that even through topics coming up that are very hard to discuss, that a strong couple can work through it and they can listen to each other and that they can take each other into consideration. Listening to the wisdom of the people that are older than us. Yes, there are certain standards in how things used to be as far as love and relationship go that you may not want to listen to. Maybe you come from a family where it's like you get married by a certain time, or you're with someone that means you get married, or you means you don't live together but you do this, or all that kind of societal stuff. My Aunt Chris always said to me that in the first year of relationship, you should have fun. You should just be having complete and utter fun for the most part. Things could come up here and there, people have to go through things, but for the most part you should be having a really good time, because if the relationship ends up becoming a committed partnership, life is always going to bring you something. It's the nature of life to have things come up or hard times come in or different cycles of life that are more challenging. If it's like that from day one, I think I'm raising my hand, where it's just you have to have the talk from day one. Or someone's constantly finding something up with you or something wrong, or you never feel enough, or it's this constant compromise. It doesn't feel balanced. It feels like you always having to do so much work, or you're trying to accept things about people that really are unacceptable to you deep down. So what's that wisdom? What's the wisdom of the ages? I'm going to remember those things. What else? So the Chariot. So this is not feeling imbalanced. This is feeling overwhelmed. This is feeling almost like a situation that doesn't feel very just. It doesn't feel very fair, that it's one-sided. And there's a lot of petty stuff going on. Perhaps you feel like someone's not listening to you, or that someone's trying to take from you. Like it's like they have an ego and they have to be always right. This is somebody that always has to be right. Maybe in a way you always have to be right, because it comes from this deep sense of having to defend yourself. Maybe people have attacked you. You've been attacked in romantic partnership, and so there's this, you're on the defensive all the time and there's not balance. Maybe take a deep breath. Really feel into the situation where you are. How is it different? How is it not different? Because if it doesn't feel different, then maybe you can find your way into balance by being just present with that person. But definitely there could be somebody here that you're dealing with that always has to be right. And it feels like they're taking like a sense of sovereignty away. Or how come you can't understand that I'm doing this for you kind of person, when really it feels they're doing it for themselves. That's always the worst, when someone's, I'm doing this for you, but they're really doing it for them. Having other options, being able to look away, it can be very emotional to come to the hard realizations that we're not where we want to be or who we want to be with, and leaving something behind. Knowing that there are other ships, right? There are other fish in the sea. And there absolutely are other fish in the sea. It can feel like, but I put so much time and effort into this one situation, this one person. I built this thing. But if it's out of balance, if it's not in alignment with who you are, if you feel like you're looking away, you're not looking at the reality, you're looking away at what someone's really doing to you, it's time to take a moment, maybe look out and see what else there is. Something else will definitely come up. Some other person will absolutely come up. You may be alone for a little while, and it's not the worst thing to maybe go spend time with friends, try a hobby that you've been wanting to do, spend more time on your self-care. I know, it's like, but I want to be with somebody. I'm sick and tired of being alone. I'm sick and tired of doing for myself. And I get it. But what's the alternative? Maybe there is more that you need to do on your own. And let me tell you something, a person who really loves you for who you are is going to want you to enjoy yourself. They want a person who enjoys being in their own presence. They don't try to be right about every little thing. They want to share. They don't have to take anything away from you. They want you to see that you have infinite possibility, and that how you feel and your emotions matter and count. Because you're the Empress, man or woman, you are a manifester. You are mastering the different areas of your own life. And I don't know if we ever have total mastery of every single aspect of our entire life. I think it's part of the life's journey to constantly be spinning different wheels at different times. Okay, this means something to me right now, being in partnership, spending time on that. What do I need to do? This is work. This is family. This is my self-care. This is my spiritual journey. But the Empress doesn't ignore any aspect of herself. One is not more important than the other. She knows when it's time to step up to the plate and give care and honor and attention to the part of her that needs it most at that time. She knows how to love herself, and through loving herself, she learns more deeply how to sit in love with another. And this is also a really sexy, passionate Empress. Often they come across as very fertile, very motherly. This is that goddess energy. This energy of, I sit in my sexuality and my sensuality that is for me, and I share that with someone else for me first. Not just for them. I share it for me. And I share it for them because I want to. I want to give that to them. And the Wheel of Fortune, which was in my last pile 1. So maybe this is a little synchronicity that you should check out pile 1 as well. But there is something has completed. This can be a card of travel, and I don't always pick up on that, but this could be traveling. This could be traveling with someone that you're not expecting to travel with. This could be a romantic getaway with someone, even with someone very new, so that you have time together to really get to know each other and just have space. And so it's an end of being one way, of expecting yourself to always have a certain outcome when it comes to love. That there can be new types of partnership, new types of people, and that you can be different in partnership than you've ever been in before. You can be different in partnership in a way that you never have before. More sharing yourself, more authentic. And it's partially because you're getting from someone that they really want all of you. They want to know how you really feel. And it's a privilege and it's an honor and it is really the breath of life to be in partnership with someone where everybody can totally be themselves. And perhaps this is happening for you and for someone else in a way you've never really felt that way with somebody else. You've been in love, you've had good partnerships, you've had this and that, but there's something about really being able to be oneself completely, and that's because you've been through certain relationships and had certain things already happen, and the experience and that wisdom takes you to this place with this person to be this best version of yourself in partnership than you ever have before. I will leave it at that. I really appreciate your being here and taking the time to listen. Thank you so much. Please give me a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the reading, please let me know in the comments below how this supported you, what your thoughts are. Let me know about the different topics that you would like me to read about. And please, if you're feeling called to subscribe, it would be an honor to have you here, a part of the community. So that's it for now, and I'll be back soon. Bye, love. Hello, love pile number 3 people. The beautiful jade stone. How you doing, loves? Hope you're having a good day so far. Let's start off with your animal medicine card. Stingray. This is about backbone. This is about the process in which we claim ourselves and our personal truth, our authentic self. Just being our authentic self with somebody else. And whatever, you like me, you don't like me, I'm myself. The backbone is also boundaries and knowing what you want and what you don't want, and what you can't compromise on, what you don't want to put up with. I think anybody that you're with, if they're healthy and whole, they have these things too, and it's important to be able to share them with one another, to be able to lovingly listen to each other about where your boundaries are, where you feel tender and vulnerable. Sometimes you just don't know something about someone, or they don't know something about you until they know. And if we don't tell them, they don't know. So we have to really trust that we need to be able to tell the truth, talk about ourselves. And if it's not for someone, it's not for someone. If you're not for them, you're not for them. You really are just clearing and making the path for what is going to be in alignment with you. And you absolutely will. Forgiveness. I always feel forgiving ourselves is one of the biggest journeys of life. I think it's a constant path of our own forgiveness to ourselves for what we didn't see in the past, where we didn't have backbone, where we didn't have boundaries. Maybe where we weren't very tolerant with other people, that we look back on it now and we're like, I could have had more tolerance. And I ruined that. You can't really ruin anything. Not really. So it's forgiveness for yourself. And maybe you need to ask forgiveness of someone. Maybe that's part of your healing journey for yourself and for a partnership, is just to come out and say, I'm sorry. Or to tell someone that you need an apology from them. We get into this thing where they should just know. But again, sometimes people don't know until they know. And it's important to give the benefit of the doubt. And then if it still is not right, it's not right. If they come at you and the apology doesn't seem authentic, or they're doing it just to placate you, or they don't really feel they owe you an apology, then you can go back and consider and reevaluate. But that's what's coming through with that for me. And the outsider, because you don't want to make yourself an outsider by not speaking your personal truth. And when we don't speak our personal truth and we separate and alienate ourselves, it's easy to blame other people. They don't get me, or nobody gets me, or I'm in a partnership and I feel like I'm on the outside looking in, or I always feel like I'm on the outside looking in, or if you're single, I'm always on the outside looking in at other relationships and I can't seem to get it. But What is it that you're not revealing? You know, you can come out of the shadows. This card, it's like a child. So perhaps there's some inner child work or some paying attention to your childhood and how your childhood could possibly be bringing some disruption into your partnerships as an adult, or familial sort of bonds and how they're affecting you. Maybe you're allowing your family to have too much input on the kind of person that you should be with, or you're letting them affect you too much, or because you didn't feel accepted as a child, you have trouble feeling accepted now. Maybe that's a path of healing that you need to explore, perhaps by working with some sort of guide or going into some sort of therapy or somatic experience therapist, EMDR. There are all kinds of things to explore childhood traumas and the shame around it so that you can open things up and have forgiveness for yourself and even being able to forgive others. Recently, I had an experience where I came to this sort of profound realization that I needed to forgive some people for how they treated me. I can't tell you how changing that perspective really did give me a lot of peace. Now, I'm certainly not saying if someone it can be very difficult if someone really treated you poorly, if you felt emotionally torn apart. But to be able to see that other people are coming from their childhood traumas and wounds as well, that doesn't mean that you should be with them. You should say goodbye to them, but they're doing things on their own trauma response. They're looping in their own trauma vortex. And if they don't want to get help, if they don't want to be on a healing path, there's nothing that you can really do about it except let them be and move on and have the backbone to know that, again, this clearing out makes room for not just the people, but this other situations and environments in your life that are going to be more whole for you, more satisfying, more satiating, that are going to fill you up more. Let's see. What else is going on here? And there absolutely will be new offers. Here's a child again. And so it's this, I think the other side of childhood wound is being playful like the child, being curious like the child, and wanting to be in a situation where you can offer that playfulness, that adventure, that, yeah, I'm willing to try this. I'm willing to get a little bit emotional here. I'm willing to explore a secure, healthy attachment and bond with somebody else who is also willing to offer something from a place of, I can sit in the adult I am now and let go of the past. I'm not my past. Strength in reverse, not feeling overcome or overwhelmed. Not feeling a sense of lust overtaking you to the point where you lose control. You throw yourself into a situation where you might be making choices based on past childhood trauma or past adolescent trauma. So when two people that come together from this unhealed place, it's a trauma bond. And it can feel really good because it can feel like, oh, there's a hole that's being filled. But it's not something that's going to be consistent and long lasting. It requires a little bit of work. It requires digging in, but you've built a lot already. You have everything that you've ever done, whether you think it was a mistake, whether you overcompromised, whether you allowed people to act in a way that ultimately wasn't satisfying, didn't fit with you. These are still all of your building blocks of your wisdom of who you are. You get to take all that with you. That makes you a wiser, healthier person. Understanding what we don't want is part of the process of understanding what we do want. Those things aren't to be shoved to the side because it didn't work out the way you wanted. Like, we take it and we use it as a reference for healing. And then we begin to create something new. Because you don't have to be in a place of depression. You don't need to feel like you're on the outside looking in all the time, when there's actually a place to go that's safe and warm and has everything that you need, where there's spiritual a connection and contentment, where on earth it is a physical manifestation of feeling safe and secure. It's not just in the ether, we're so connected up in the 3D twin flame zone, we're so connected. No, this is something that's working here on earth that makes you feel stable, that makes you feel secure, that makes you feel whole. When you're with this person, you are lifted up. They don't have 1,000 problems with you. You're not over-compromising. They're not over-compromising. They're not trying to fill up their hole with water that's just going to get taken in because they're so thirsty. There is home within when you have your own boundaries and resource and backbone, when you are aligned, when you've worked on all the parts of yourself. You build a home within that is so strong, that is such a foundation, that only people of a certain caliber will be attracted. And you'll know right away when someone's trying to infiltrate your field in a more of a vampiric, I'm so empty, I want some of their stuff, I need it. No, not when they're willing just to only take and not give back, regardless of what they say. And rebirth, coming around again, coming back to yourself again, coming back to playing in partnership and getting curious about people in a way that feels fun and exciting and promising and hopeful, in a way that's more lit up. Feeling free, feeling that the child in you is getting a chance to be seen and heard. And that translates into your adult self. You're giving that to your inner child, and it is making your adult self more fulfilled. And there is partnership there. I'm going to leave it at that. I want to thank all you lovely people. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for listening. Please comment below and let me know what resonates with you. Please let me know what other topics you would like me to pick a card for you so that I can serve you here. And please, if you're feeling called, it would be an honor if you would join the community. I appreciate you, and I'll be back soon, love. Bye.